What's up, everyone? My name is Dak. Welcome back to another episode of Dak Chats. We had a really awesome eviction night tonight, or at least the format was awesome. And we had a good episode last night that we didn't get to cover, so we won't really cover it. But if we reference it to last night, just be aware. I was gonna try and cover it more, but I've been busy trying to set up. I don't know if you can tell, but we're in a different setting. It's a little bit different, so we're kind of readjusting and reshifting some stuff. So forgive me if it's not quite as quality yet. I'm still working on it, and I'm getting adjusted to how everything is. Let me know. I feel like I say this every single episode and every stream, but let me know how the audio sounds. If it sounds good, if it sounds kind of like it has issues, too muffled, let me know. I'm always trying to play with it and get it to sound better. Because every time I play it back, it always sounds a little too muffled and rattly for me. So let me know. Let me know what you guys think. If you're new here, thanks for joining. First off, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. And go ahead, if you like the stream, hit the like button. And if you enjoy what we're doing here by the end of the stream, hit that subscribe button. And also, too, for anyone new, we always try and read some of the comments down at the end of the stream. So if you put something in there, I don't read it right away. Don't be alarmed. I'll get to it by the end. Sometimes we'll kind of read them as we go if it's kind of relevant to what we're talking about then. But so we'll start from there. So really great to be back, guys. I'm excited to get on with tonight. And I said it, the first week. I said it last week. I was really hoping that the way that the house was split was going to be by random draw. And I still think that is a principle that should be followed if they do this twist again. And for all intents and purposes, I just want to state that I am a fan of this twist. I was not at first, and I haven't been when they did it on Survivor, but I've come around to it. And I'm starting. I might even come around to it on Survivor, so who knows? Excuse me, but yeah, I did come around to it. But I have as a principle, or as a general principle or general outline of what the twist could be. That being said, actually, one moment, I forgot to plug my camera in, and that is going to die on me real soon if I don't. Oh goodness, oh that's awful. Okay, all right, sorry about that. But anyway. I still think that, everyone says sounds good. Thank you guys. Thanks for letting me know. I still think that there needs to be some changes on how it's operated. The principles behind it, or not the principles behind it, but the way that they determine certain things, the way that certain things are laid out. Like I said, I think it should be a random draw. Now, it did kind of turn out well depending on how you look at it tonight. It wasn't. Whether or not you like the outcome of what happened at Direfest, I'm taking this out for now. Whether or not you like the outcome of what happened at Direfest, it goes to show that at least something happened, right? I mean, you still got to have the players picked, and there was still some drama, there was tension, and ultimately, the alliance blew up. So the game's completely turned around on its head, and half the other side doesn't even know. So the schoolyard pick, it did show that it could be done in a successful way. I still think there was potential for some more drama. If we had one half of the house be completely leftovers, all five of them, and then the other side only have two, I feel like that could have caused a option for both sides, both sides of the house to get a leftovers member out. Would everything gotten out? Would it have gone down the way it did? Who knows? But I do still think that. It could have caused a little bit better of a scenario. So obviously that might not have happened even with the random draw, but there's at least a potential for it. Whereas we know with them doing the schoolyard pick, there just really wasn't a lot of potential for them to get away with that and for that to happen. Possible, but not very likely. I like the premise of the twist. That's what I'm looking for. The premise of the twist. But I do hope they make some changes. I've said it again, and there's been people that have disagreed with me. I don't care. I've said from the very beginning, or people disagree on both parts of this. I've said from the very beginning, you can't. Whenever you go into the house, you can't complain about a twist because it negatively affects you. I mean, you can't complain, but I don't like hearing I didn't sign up for that, because when you sign up for the show, you're signing up for all kinds of different possibilities, except for, sleeping outdoors. Again, it may not be, it may be fine for some, and they definitely had certain people in there that were fine with it, but I feel like if that's something that you weren't up for, that shit, you had no premise in knowing. Now I know, full transparency, Cody Calafiore, he has his, him and Derek do the Winter Circle, and they have their own podcast. And Cody was doing his own, and I hopped on, and I mentioned that, and he kind of rebutted with, well, no, it's still part of the premise of anything can change. And I don't disagree with what he's saying, but I just feel like there is no precedent for that to be the case. So they at least have to have some type of expectation that, well, yeah, expect the unexpected, anything's possible. No, this actually is a possibility that you could be sleeping outside for a whole week, and outside of no air conditioning and all that stuff. So again, it's not that big a deal. I'm sure I would have been fine with it, but as someone, I think Crazy Mad last week mentioned, would this be the twist that breaks me? I can't say that it would, but if any of them would, it would be this one, based just on the principle alone. But that's my opinion. And again, I know, as I've proven, not everyone agrees with me on that, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. That's just my personal opinion on that. But I think they could have retrofitted the basement, and we did eventually see it this season. So they had options, but overall, I think there is a good premise. I feel like they should have. Last week should have been the 1 hour, and this week should have been the 2 hour. I know they were trying to overlap. I don't know what the point of having a 2 hour episode was, just to have one veto comp spill over. I don't really, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me why they would have done that. I guess they slotted the time and then restructured it afterwards, because regardless, that still would have been just a regular 2 hour episode. Even if we didn't have the veto, it still would have just been a regular 2 hour episode where we had an extra long amount of strategy talk, which I'm awesome with, absolutely awesome with. And then the eviction, and then we would have had the HOH and stuff. But we wouldn't have shown two different HOH comps or anything like that. Maybe they were planning on doing two different comps and changed their mind. I don't know, but I just feel like it should have been flipped the other way around. We could have got so much more info, and especially with all the controversy that went on this week, because I'm sure most of you know, but the feeds went down after the veto was played and won. After Terrence won the veto, the feeds kind of went down because it was pretty much confirmed that there was a wall yeller, and that they had said something that caused Terrence to at least temporarily change his mind on who he wanted to have on the block. And then pretty much immediately went back on that, but they didn't show that. They have that possibility as well happening in the future when you have people staying outside. And so they crammed a lot in tonight's episode, and just like a normal, and it is similar to a normal double eviction. I do get that, but I've also been saying for years that each double eviction should be 2 episodes. I've been saying that the entire eviction night should be 2 episodes, 2 hours, not 2 episodes, 2 hours long. I think Thursday night eviction night, there's just so much going on to actually accurately portray the narrative and fit everything, because they still haven't really learned how to do comps on live TV, because every season, even this one, we still have issues whenever they try and do it. So I really feel like they should have the eviction night as a 2 hour episode, and then it also gives more room to breathe for the double eviction as well. So all in all, I think every Thursday night should be a 2 hour, but if you're not, you should at least always have the double on a 2 hour, especially when you're doing it this way, just because there is so much more context. We are getting, as opposed to the double being everything crammed in one night and playing it out, we are still getting a full week's worth, so they are able to at least kind of tell us kind of what's going on, or have some type of narrative for the second half. And it does give a little bit more attention to the first half because it's a smaller group, So they're able to, there may not be, and there wasn't as much info to be discussed from the inside the house this week than there is most weeks, just because it is so small. They kind of rush to that point where you get to the final 5, even the final 6, and the game talk starts to die down. So when that happens, there's really not as much for them to discuss. So all that being said, they could have had a lot more in this episode if they wanted to, and they forego that route. But I hope they bring the twist back, and I hope that they're able to tweak it and to improve it in the future seasons. And if they do, I'm fine with this being every season. I know someone else mentioned every other season or just random seasons, so they can't predict it. I completely agree. Kind of like I agree that is a good idea, but I feel like from a staple, I don't know. I would like to see it more often than that. I feel like it really does add a lot to the game, even if they do see it coming, because again, they see a double coming every year and they're able to plan it out just fine. But they'll be a little bit more prepared in future seasons, and especially if they do continue to do it and it goes on, they will be more prepared. But I still feel like a lot could happen in that, that week. We saw it. This week, the inside stayed loyal and the outside did not stay loyal. So, it's very, very, very different outcomes possible. But let's go ahead and, oh gosh, we've been going for over about 12 minutes now. I can't stop. Let's get into it. So Brittany, we're going to start with Big Bro Fest. Start with Big Bro Fest. Now, Brittany, she says that they're still staying loyal to the leftovers, and they want to take Jasmine out, and they're not sure. They don't really know what's going on the outside, but for them, they're just going to assume the best. They're going to hope for the best, and they're all going to stick together on the inside. And it is so crazy to see on the inside this alliance that involves both, but on the inside, it's still so tied together, and at least compared to the outside, because on the outside, it's completely ripped apart, and it's ripped apart on the inside too. They just don't know it yet, but it's like it's watching. I don't know. I guess it's kind of like watching the stream after I end it, and it's still going because there's a little bit of latency. It's kind of lingering, even though we already know that it's dead. Its toes are still kind of wiggling, so it was entertaining to see that. Monty says he feels all right about the numbers. He's not happy to be on the block in general. He did try and gun for the veto because he wanted to take himself off. It's never good to be up there if you can prevent it, but if he is on it, he's as comfortable as he could be being on the block, and says he should have the votes in general. Jasmine says that she has to convince the other members that Monty is a big threat and that she could be a good asset. And then she, like, on one hand, I'm like, at least she admitted it. On the other hand, I'm just disgusted that it is factually proven true that she's been playing up her injury just to get along. I will say, and my initial reaction is she shouldn't be allowed to do that. That was my initial reaction. After I thought about it a little bit more, I'm like, you know what? Whenever I think about this game, and I've said this before, I kind of think of it just all these people thrown into a pit and we just watch them do whatever. And while in the game they have rules, and as far as in real life and those types of situations where that Big Brother is inspired from, they had rules, but it wasn't as formatted as it was, and people still got hurt, and they didn't leave if they got hurt. They might have been put down, but that got really dark. Anyway, they were still existing, right? And they still had to find ways to adapt. So if it were in one of those real life scenarios, that's probably how that would have gone. So again, part of me, I'm annoyed that she would do it in general, but I don't really see, she's not using production. She's just using something that happened to her. If anyone else wants to break their leg and intentionally and use that as a strategy, then by all means. I could argue against it too, but that's kind of where I stand on it. It's annoying, but it's possible to do in the game, and she's doing it. Michael says that everything inside is for the most part going good. There's nothing, no real surprises are really going to happen. But again, the outside, they don't know what's going on with the outside, and that worries them. And I definitely was expecting them to kind of be going back and forth like they had been the last couple episodes. That's the way they did it tonight. Is the way they kind of set it up last Thursday and said how the rest of the episodes were going to go. But it doesn't. That's not how it turned out. I did like tonight's how they kind of split it up, and just kind of had it go back and forth, as you know, like they did the last two episodes. So Taylor talks about, well, what if we do? She's talking to leftovers, and she's like, well, okay, what if Alyssa and Kyle do both come in, and they go up next week? They discuss what numbers they would have, who'd vote for who they could guess the best, and then it just swings back around to Michael's like, we just don't know what's going on out there. It's almost impossible for us to plan because there's at least 5 different scenarios, at least, as to what could happen based on who went home. And then depending on who went home, there's multiple scenarios as to how they went home and what happened. So they truly have no idea what to plan for. And it is, I was really excited to watch them commingle. And there was a good point, and I didn't catch who said it. I think it did come from one of the outsiders, but it did. But if they basically said something like, it might have been the insiders that mentioned it. Alyssa could have won Veto, pulled herself down. Yeah, it was Michael. He said Alyssa could have won Veto, pulled herself down, and then that would have forced the leftovers to they'd have to decide. So I kind of forgot about that aspect when they were meeting. I was hoping that there would have been instant realizing that, oh, Joseph got played, something happened with the leftovers, but I forgot that is a possibility. So they already kind of know that, and their commingle at the end was a little bit more harmonious than I would have liked. I wanted them to kind of see going at each other, but they didn't. So we do get to the vote rather quickly, and we see Taylor and Brittany both vote to evict Jasmine, and so she does leave. She was a lot better this week, is what I've been hearing on the feed. She hasn't been quite as hard to digest, but there are certain personality traits that are. I'm glad I won't have to watch anymore, at least from that. I know that sounds mean, but it is what it is. So Michael and Brittany both in their goodbye messages did reveal pretty much the leftovers without calling it by name. They didn't I don't think they said who all was in it. They just both said that they were part of a 7-person alliance, and that they were orchestrated this, and that it was just Jasmine's time to go. So we did see that happen. And other than that, I didn't really take much away from it. Besides that, that was a pretty straightforward, and we knew it was. I'm glad that they did that one first. The inside gets to go first, and it played out well this time because it allowed us for last night's episode to kind of give us more room for that. So, but yeah, so pretty much from that point on, we move on to Dire Fest. And before we do that, let's go ahead and we'll catch up a little bit on some of the live stream comments. Any of you that just joined us, we do tend to save our live stream comments towards the end of the stream. But since it's kind of broken up here, we'll kind of go back over it. And sometimes we will kind of pull some comments as we're going if it kind of relates to what we're talking about. But usually we try and say most until the end. So we'll just give everyone a quick shout out here. Hi, Maureen. Hi, Mona. Hi, Crazy Mad. Hi, Robbie. Let's see. Hi, Maureen. Crazy Mad. Hi, Madeline. You said you haven't watched tonight's show, but I couldn't stop myself from hopping on. Hey, thank you so much for being here and having that much of enjoyment out of our streams. I'm really glad that you're able to join us. And again, we it's not like we didn't already pretty much know he was going in. If you've kept up at all with the feeds, you knew. Even just going off of last night's episode, yeah, there was a little bit of mystery as to, well, maybe that does flip on Kyle, but we all kind of knew it was Joseph. So fortunately, it's not that big of a spoiler, but I apologize for that you haven't got to see it yet, but we're really glad that you're able to join us. And thanks for hopping on, even though you haven't seen it yet. Okay, let's go back and let's see. Has any what anything else? Robbie says she's pissed about tonight's episode. Okay. You thought that Kyle and Michael were the two best players, or Crazy Matt says he thinks Kyle and Michael were the two best players, and sets it up for a good 4v4. That is true. I agree with that. I think that it is going to be. I was hoping that basically only one, even though I wanted to see, or I knew that there was potential for two leftovers go out. I'm kind of glad we only got the one, and I'm glad. I hate that Joseph left. I just want to say I am so upset that Joseph's gone, but I am glad that it is going to be a showdown between Kyle and Monty, because if Joseph was there, we would have still gotten a little bit further along before we really got much of a fight. And now it's going to be a very interesting week of feeds and just in general watching how this plays out and see what ends up happening. So I am excited for this week because I do think there's a lot of entertaining possibilities to go over. Yeah, Mona says elaborate, and Crazy Matt says it'd be Joseph. Yeah, I am upset that Joseph's gone. I really am. Mona says Joseph didn't do everything right, actually, even though he had an amazing. Yeah, he didn't do everything right, and it took him a while. I mean, he was on the wrong side of that pooch vote, and up until that point, he had no idea what was going on. Was he on the wrong side? He was. Whenever he found out that the vote was flipping to pooch, or at least they told him it was flipping to pooch, it wasn't until much later on. So he didn't have any idea really what was going on, and he kind of got left out of a lot. And at that point, I was like, I really don't have much of an interest in Joseph. It wasn't until the leftovers formed that he started to get more airtime. And he instantly changed. I know we joke all the time about he turned 25 in the house and his brain fully developed. I'm not going to lie. I'm the same age as Joseph. I feel like I've thought that myself. So I can't hate on him too much. But I do think once that hit, he really kind of took off from there. And I was really excited to see it from that. Robbie says, I don't like Kyle at all, but I'm more upset with Turner. I understand not all my favorites can stay, but not only did he vote Joseph out, but it was like he turned into something completely different. I still like Turner. From my perspective, I hate the group that's outside. They all are, I don't like using the word problematic, but they are. They all have said some very not good things. And it's almost like the villains group, all but Turner. I still like Turner, and I think for Turner, from his perspective, he just really hasn't witnessed a lot of what Kyle has said, and what Terrence has said for that matter. And so I feel like it's, he just sees it as a couple of good friends. He had a closer bond with them than Joseph, and he's just trying to stick with it. I don't blame Joseph or Turner at all. For going with that, and and alternatively, he could have tried to persuade Terrence, but if he didn't have Terrence's vote, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So then he would have just been making an enemy out of himself. But I really feel bad for Joseph. But I'm at least glad that, I know we're getting ahead, but I'm at least glad that Joseph was able to get the live audience. All right, let's go ahead and hop on and catch up with Direfest, because we're jumping too far ahead of ourselves. So we'll start. We get back from the veto ceremony for Direfest, and Terrence says that he used the veto basically because he wants, from what, I couldn't catch exactly what he was saying, but from what I interpreted, I feel like he was saying that he basically wasn't decided yet. And so he was trying to determine for sure what route he wanted to go, who he wanted to align with. Again, they didn't show it in the episode, but we did have the wall yeller, and that did kind of influence him about his decision and what he was going to do. So I think he just kind of felt like he needed more time to digest it, and that at least gave him the option to do that, because if he left them the same, then it didn't matter. He was going to have to take Joseph out. Or Turner, it could have flipped that way, but he knew Turner wasn't going anywhere. And he knew that Joseph was going to be his target if he took any of them out. And so because Joseph was kind of the other side of his bromance, and so it kind of gave Terrence the option to weigh both sides of the decision. And he also said that this now gives him an opportunity to just take in as much info from both sides. And he's absolutely right. I think that was a smart move, because if you don't put Kyle up, then Kyle's only going to give you info that benefits him because he's not in danger that week. You put him up, and now he, at least if you make him feel like, I think you're safe, but who knows? And even if he does try and make him feel 100% safe, Kyle is gonna, if he's smart, he's still gonna try and talk to him and campaign, because he doesn't know what's really going on in Terrence's mind. And even then, even if he doesn't do that, I still feel like it's likely that he's going to be easily able to be kind of just word vomit, because I feel like Kyle does do that in certain situations, especially at this point, because he feels like he really doesn't have any other option, and he's given his alignment to Alyssa. And again, I hate that Joseph went out. I do think it was the best move for Kyle to do what he did, because Alyssa, he's right, Alyssa will never vote him out. That's a number he will have. And if he goes up, if he didn't keep Alyssa, he's losing a guaranteed vote. And it's not unlikely that he would be the first boot. I feel like that could easily be, Monty maybe, and then right after Monty, I feel like it'd be Kyle. So that at least gave him some strength in numbers. And then, other than that, he's really kind of stuck in a position where if he did, let's say something did happen and, they never went up on the block to begin with. Had he not told Terrence about the leftovers, they still didn't go up originally. And then they both stayed off after the veto. He still would be going in to the house with a target on his back. So he wanted to make sure that he kept Alyssa safe the whole time. And I get it. But it's just, it's upsetting to see. And again, he could have prevented this from happening a long time ago, but the actions he took kind of forced him and strong-armed him into this position. So I do think at this point it was the best move for him, but he also kind of caused it to be in that position to begin with. And unfortunately, the outcome is just very upsetting for all of us to see, because I don't know a single person that doesn't love Joseph. I love Joseph so much, and it's just so upsetting, so sad that that's what happened. But, okay, so Kyle, he's talking about, he's like, I'm not sure what happened, and why I went up. Terrence just kind of flipped on him a little bit. Turner is ecstatic. He said he's been blindsided in the best way possible, because now he's off the block, and he doesn't care really ultimately what happens now. He has his preferences, but he's safe now, and that's all he cares about in the moment. Joseph says he's happy that if he is on the block, he's sitting next to Kyle over Turner, because he said there was no way he'd campaign over Turner or campaign against Turner, and that also Kyle is a bigger threat, so he's going to have an easier time campaigning against Kyle anyway. It's really sad watching him just be like, yeah, man, I could never bring myself to go against Turner, and Turner never had his back. I mean, he told him, I think it was yesterday, I saw him on the feeds tell Joseph that Joseph was asking about his vote, and he said right now he's 55-45 leaning in Joseph's favor, and that, it's still close, but it's better than 50-50. So he was still kind of stoking those coals, which you don't want to completely make him lose hope, but it was a little bit kind of sad watching him, dragging him along like that, when Joseph's over here like, I got Turner's back regardless, and now I can campaign against Kyle easy and way better than I ever could Turner, because I'm too close to Turner, and Turner's over here just throwing him away for Kyle. So it was kind of hard to see. Again, I don't blame Turner. I definitely don't think Turner did it maliciously. I definitely think he still likes Joseph. He just has a better bond with Kyle and Alyssa. Not so much Terrence. He's probably closer to Joseph than Terrence, but he just felt like that was going to be the better option for him. So Terrence talks to Kyle and says that, he says they're just trying to keep the temperature low, I think is what he said. Basically, we're trying to keep everything calm. We don't want those guys to implode all week if they were both up, because they're both together, and they didn't know that the alliance blew up, so it's going to cause a bunch of heat. It looks like, obviously, again, we didn't have the feeds, but it looks like there still was a bit of heat that got turned up on on the week anyway. So basically, he's just trying to tell him, "Oh, don't worry about it." When Terrence is basically like, "I'm doing this so I can decide if I still want to keep you." He just doesn't want Kyle to know that. So Terrence talks to Turner and says that he needs to tell him more, and he wants to strengthen their bond. And then also too, what I didn't catch is that right after the ceremony, Joseph is talking to Terrence, and he's like, "Listen, if we all want to get together, we can do that. And we can just kind of hash this out so we can all figure it out together." And we see that come to play later in a very difficult to watch segment, at least for myself, and my wife agreed. It was very brutal watching that entire thing go down. Like I said, Terrence tells Turner that he needs to tell Turner more about what made him make the decision to do what he did, and that basically he wants to strengthen their bond, and he needs to fill him in some more stuff. Kyle says that Joseph must have convinced Terrence to put him up. So Kyle's kind of panicking, and he's thinking that Joseph flipped on him, even though he already flipped on Joseph. So he's worried about that. Terrence talks to Joseph, or Terrence tells Joseph that Kyle outed the leftovers, because Joseph goes to him. He's like, for sure, can you for sure tell me and confirm to me that Kyle flipped on me? Because he kind of hinted to that or mentioned that before the veto ceremony we saw last night. And Terrence is like, yeah, dude, he already told us about the leftovers and about everything. And Joseph's like, dude, he completely just screwed us all over. He's set fire to the alliance and blew it up, and that's dead now. And so he's kind of panicking, and Joseph tells Terrence that, okay, well, and this was, I don't think we saw this. Yeah, we didn't see it on the feeds, but this was kind of talked about by some people. They were like, Kyle's already kind of told Terrence that Joseph created the inner circle and started the leftovers based on what I think they said based on what Indy had told him, or no, Amira. Amira had fed him information about Old School, and that caused him to go and tell us all, and then we started leftovers. And obviously that isn't true. And Joseph tells him, he's like, Kyle actually started it. He kind of tells him about the pound within the leftovers, and then he's telling him, Alyssa came to him about the info, not the other way around. Alyssa told him about the info about Old School, and that's what caused us to form the leftovers, because we were all kind of on the outs. He wants to convince Terrence that basically all Kyle really cares about, he said, all he did was protect his own interests, and then once he got up close with Alyssa, all he cared about was protecting him and Alyssa, and now he's thrown our alliance completely under the bus, and it just shows he has absolutely no loyalty. Joseph basically decides he wants to have a big group combo and hash everything out. I don't know how beneficial this was, to be honest. I feel, I understand why he did it, because everyone's just kind of throw stuff out there, and when you have nothing else, I guess it's better than nothing. But it didn't go well for Joseph, unfortunately, and we saw that because he tries to talk to everyone about it, and so we'll get to that. They kind of have this all scattered, but it's a little bit in between. So Joseph talks about wanting to have this conversation, and then he gets called to the DR, and Terrence gathers everyone else around and says, basically, he wants to build a group of 4, them come together, come solid, and take it to the end. And Turner is like, I'm down. Turner's basically like, the leftovers had to realize that we would have created a bond out here, and that they would have had to expect it. So he's basically like, this is the new 4. This is what I'm happy with, and basically, the heck with the leftovers. We're done with that, and then obviously Kyle and Alyssa are all on board too. So Turner's ready to jump ship and side with the 4. He says that again, the leftovers should have expected this to happen. And then they come together and they call themselves the After Party. This is the first I've heard about it. It's not bad, I don't think. I do often wonder if I was in the house how I would come up with a name, because there's always been there's always been so many good alliance names that at this point, every time someone comes up with a new one, it gets hated on, but it's like, what else do you use? There's been lots of really good stuff that's already been taken, but it's not. I don't think it's that terrible. Joseph, he says he's got no idea what's going on, but he wants to try and convince the group to keep him. He wants to throw everything out there. So he calls together this meeting, and he tells, we're all five of them there, he tells Alyssa that when Daniel and Kyle had won the veto, and you and Indy were up on the block, Kyle was actually not going to use a veto on you. Daniel was the one that had to do it. And if it wasn't for Daniel, he would have come, you would have stayed up there. Kyle immediately says, listen, that just because I told you that's what's going to happen, that doesn't mean that that's what I was planning on. And, I'm really not sure, because when it got to that point, it was really kind of a gamble as to will he, won't he? Once Daniel was at the point where Daniel realized he was going to do it regardless, it took that pressure off of Kyle. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, don't quote me. But I am pretty sure that he was not going to use it in the end. I think he came really, really close to doing it, but in the end he decided not to. And so I don't think that, obviously to Joseph's understanding and his belief, he did believe that veto was not going to be used, because Kyle's going back and forth. It did kind of publicly do it to the group, but all in all, he was having a much bigger struggle internally than he was letting them know. And I don't think Joseph knows just how close Kyle came to using it had Daniel not. And so Kyle's like, just because I said I wasn't going to doesn't mean I wasn't going to. What I tell you and what I'm actually planning on doing are two different things. And he's like, you're putting words in my mouth. And this whole thing just is not, it was not good for Joseph, and it was heartbreaking to watch, because he's throwing everything out there, and he's talking to Alyssa, and Alyssa's like, she mentions something about the five swatters, and she's upset about that, and he's like, Kyle's been lying to you about all of this, and she's like, well, he's finally come clean, and he's still been with me, he still fought to keep me, and you have been lying to me the whole time. And he's like, yeah, but I'm telling you the truth now, like, this is what happened. And I feel like for the most part, she, like, even if she believes it, she doesn't care. She's like, whatever. Me and Kyle have made up. That's all that matters to her. They've made up, and Joseph lied. And so obviously she's going to blame Joseph more than Kyle in that instance, because she's choosing to. That's who she wants to believe more. And Turner says that he didn't agree with Kyle not using the veto, obviously because Kyle knew information that Joseph didn't at the time, about Alyssa's emotional response to a very private and intimate thing that didn't last very long for Kyle and Alyssa. And so once Turner was aware of this, he decided he didn't feel comfortable doing it. But even Turner was like, but next week we still might do it. So it wasn't like he wasn't okay with it in general. He just wasn't okay with it in the moment. Alyssa points out the fact that Joseph did play double agent, and she's completely right. From that point of view, I feel like she has every right to be upset, because yeah, he was very proudly playing double agent, even to the point where whenever the leftovers were telling him, well, you don't need to do it anymore, he still wanted to, because he was just having fun doing it. But he did. He took all the info that they gave him and flipped it back around and turned it on to the leftovers, and that's what caused them to make their decisions. So she did have a point with that, and again, it's incredibly sad watching just watching this unfold, because I'm feeling so much for Joseph. He's trying so hard, and he's just not giving up, and they are just not giving him anything, not even a bit of a whiff of hope, and it is very, very upsetting. It was just heartbreaking. I was heartbroken to watch from a personal level. Again, Michael, like I said, Michael is my favorite strategist. He's who I want to win from a strategy perspective, because that's what I care about the most. But sometimes it is hard not to develop an interest in these players, and and it was just rough watching Joseph go through that. It was just rough. But yeah, he just keeps trying to talk to Alyssa more and tries to tell her more of what Kyle had done, and she just wasn't having any of it. So it basically at that point we know it's dead in the water. I mean, we knew even before the veto that it was dead in the water, but it really was here. So we get to the live eviction, and we see Turner and Alyssa both vote to evict Joseph. So in 2-0, he gets voted out. The rest of the leftovers, it was interesting. The rest of the inside house was moved. They didn't see Joseph. He didn't get to see them as he walked out, and they didn't get to talk to him, which I thought was good from production standpoint. I thought that was a good way of doing it. And so he goes out, and then he has a very just heartbreaking talk, trying to watch him just try and salvage what he can, and it's just heartbroken. I do believe, and again, I said, for those of you that were around when we first launched the channel, I was a little bit, when we first did the cast assessment, I was really excited for Marvin, and I was upset that we got Joseph instead. And I even was like, he just looks like another real estate agent. I did say that. I said that 100%. And I was wrong. I was wrong to say that, because I really enjoyed watching Joseph this season. And, I'll mention it because it's been going around out there. The main account, now take this with the biggest mound salt rock that you possibly can, but the Twitter account that's basically been giving all of the spoilers, that told us that the veto was used and that Kyle went up while the feeds were down, they also mentioned, they've been proven accurate on pretty much everyone. It's Spoiler Girl on Twitter. She mentioned that there have been very early whispers about, because they want to make it a big deal about season 25, making it I think it was a second chance season, is what they talked about, which I'm in the minority. I do love returning player seasons, but only when it's all returning players. I don't really like the mix. I used to enjoy it, but it just from statistics and everything, whenever that happens, every single time we see that, the newbies always flock to the vets and put trust in them like they're the senior in high school, like a freshman, and they're with the senior. And they almost always, I don't know of a season where a returning player hasn't beat a new player. Besides, Josh with Paul. I think that was the first time that happened. Every other time, the veteran ended up making it to the end and winning. So I do enjoy it, but I think it all has to be kind of all returning for it to actually work, and it has to be the right group of people. But I'm down for a second chance season. I think that could be really fun. I would love to see it, because I think we got some really good potential people in there, and I think Joseph really is one of them. I think he would come in swinging, because he took a while to get started, but once he did, he was going strong, and I relate to him a lot, just with some of the issues that he's talks about struggling with, some of his personal diagnoses and things that I've experienced myself, and so I've related a lot to Joseph, and just listening to him talk about how his brain works and how life has been for him. There are obviously certain aspects of life that have been more challenging for him and different from mine, but when it comes to like a mentality level as to how his brain operates and all these different things, I've really related to what he said, and it's been a blast watching him, and I've had a lot of fun. So I'm really hoping to see him again whenever they whenever they do choose to have a returning player season again. I hope it's him, and I do hope that it is some type of second chance, whether it's next season or what, I don't know. But I want to see something where people got close, or at least were making good moves and got chopped before they could really take it all the way. And that could happen in a lot of stuff. I don't really care to see a first boot season. That could be interesting if they wanted to do like a mini season, kind of like an all winter season, like how they do the Celebrity Big Brother. That could be fun, because they'd have to have a smaller cast. It'd be too difficult. But I would love to see Joseph again. I really would. So, all right. So I was hoping again the HOH comp is just now going on. It didn't start before the feeds went down, so I was hoping that we'd get to see something. They did come up for a brief period. I started putting them on, but nothing really happened, so turn it off. I wasn't paying attention. But let's get caught back up on the chat now. Real quick, if you're just now joining, we do cover or try and cover most of our live chat questions towards the end of the stream. Like I said before, we'll kind of call on some ones here and there throughout, but most of it is right at the end of the stream. So if you have any comments or questions, and you want to throw anything out there, put it in the chat and we'll cover it before we end. And real quick, guys, if you've been here since the end and you haven't been here before and you're liking the stream, hit that like button. It really helps way more than you know. And if you're enjoying what we're doing here, if you like the video and you want to come back for more, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on so you'll know as soon as I go live. And it really helps us out a lot. And then last thing, before we go over live chat, what we like to do is on Twitter, if you guys follow me at DacChats, because that's where you get all of my channel updates whenever we have different stuff going on, different adjustments. That's where we get those. So we will, if you follow me on Twitter before the stream ends, I will shout you out. And it looks like, who did we have? Yeah, so go ahead and if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at DacChats. That's where you get all of our updates. But we'll go ahead and go over some of the live questions now. So again, if you're new, hit that subscribe button. I'd love that. I'm really hoping that we're able to hit 100 here in the next week or so. We've gotten so close. We're at 79 now. So let's see how quick we can get to 100. We're so close. We're so close. I'm really hoping we can get there soon. So if you're new here and you're enjoying it, having fun, hit that subscribe button. And because we go live about 15 to 30 minutes after the airing of each episode. And we won't just cover Big Brother. We'll be covering Survivor and many, many, many other things in the future. So if you're having fun, hit that subscribe button. Stick around. But we are going to go over live chat questions. So if you just tuned in, you got any questions, put them in the chat. We'll start going over those. Where did we leave off? So I think it was around. If I missed something, guys, I apologize. We were skipping ahead too much, so we had to stick around and continue on. But I'm gonna say I think it was around when Mona said, we just got a Twitter follow, Chadwag875. Oh, where'd it go? Chadwag 8751609. Crazy mad. Thank you for following me on Twitter. Go give him a follow over there on Twitter if you haven't already. Mona said, well, Joseph didn't do everything right. Oh, yeah, we did talk about that. Maureen says, it broke your heart watching Taylor and Monty looking for Joseph and realizing he's not there. Yeah, that was a bit hard to watch. I didn't enjoy it. It hurt, but it was what it was. I hated seeing it. Robbie says, I don't like Kyle at all, but I'm more upset with Turner. Oh, yeah. I think, did we read that? It turned out to be someone. Again. And I disagree with that personally, but, that's. I can understand why you would at least have that perspective. Crazy Matt says, this twist is great. It needs some tweaks in the future. Next year, they could start with 20 people and do this for the first 4 weeks. I did kind of think about that. I feel like, though, if they did it for that long, and especially with that many people, I mean, we're talking 10 people on each sides, that's going to be a ton to cover. The episodes, I mean, it would all be rushed. They would have to have 2-hour episodes for each and every episode. And I don't see that working out personally. And I don't know that I would like that. I do like it kind of as, I like it in addition to the regular double that we have, because we always have the one, or we usually have 2. So if we just had one like this and then a regular one, I think that'd be awesome. And we still might get a standard one. I'd kind of be surprised if we didn't. But Yeah, I love the twist, and I agree. It definitely needs some tweaks. I personally don't agree with the 20 in first 4 weeks, but that's just me. That's my opinion. But I do definitely agree. It's got to have some tweaks, especially, and I think crazy. I think you've agreed with most of my stuff about the way they determine the players and kind of some of the other stuff that they've done. Definitely could use some tweaks. Robbie says, sorry, I was trying to write out my long comment. Marine, they need to get rid of TikTok boy. He's a liar. Yeah, he's a lot of stuff. And he's very tunnel vision, that's for sure. He's very, very tunnel vision. Real quick, we got another Twitter follow at Madeline M. I'm gonna Soliz. I knew I was gonna butcher it. MSOLIZ. So that's got to be Madeline in the chat. Thanks for following us on Twitter, Madeline. And go give Madeline a follow. Unless you don't want anyone to follow you, then let us know. Okay. So where do we go? Where are we? Where was crazy? Okay. Robbie says, yes, I actually teared up when Julie asked him if he heard if it was hard not getting to tell Taylor by. Yeah, that was it was upsetting for him. I feel like they were very close. I don't know. I don't know personally how romantically close they were. I hate whenever Julie asks them stuff like that, especially if it wasn't super obvious. And even if it was that they were close, usually most people they don't really want to. They're not ready to label stuff right then most of the time. So we'll definitely get that question for Kyle and Alyssa. But I don't like when they try and push it. Just if it's gonna happen, awesome, let it happen. But don't push it. Okay. Mona says, I like Joseph and he was so loyal. He was very loyal. I mean he was loyal and you could count on him. Pretty much regardless. But again, as much as I hate that he was gone, I do think that I think it was what was best for Kyle's game at this point. But I wish that it wasn't I wish that wasn't what had to be what was best for his game. So it is upsetting. Not to the five swatter. I like Joseph. Which is crazy. I don't know. Not to the five swatters. I'm not sure. I must have missed that. I'm not sure what that's reference to. You can put it in there if you want, and we'll cover it again. Crazy. Robbie says, tells Mona that I know he really was. I will admit I don't think he deserved to win the game, but I hate that it was his own alliance members that took him out because it crushed him. Yeah, it broke his heart because he was loyal. He was loyal to the end, and that's what he got for it. And it was really unfortunate, and it was hard to watch. Okay, Maureen says Jasmine walked out. No, she didn't walk out to Julie. She hopped. Like she was skipping and running. Like it wasn't like running, but it was like a hop, run, skipping. Had no issues with that ankle, and it was annoying watching her milk it. Again, she's able to. There's nothing saying against it, and I can't get mad at her for taking advantage of it. Oh, what happened? Can't get mad at her. Oh, dang it. What is going on? My mouse is so messed up. There we go. Can't get mad at her for taking advantage of it as much as I'd like to. But she did, and because she had the ability to. Mona says, yes, Kyle is so icky and also a snake. No respect for him. Of course, though, Joseph was so much more likable. Of course, Kyle wanted him gone. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Joseph was a lot more of a likable person, and he knew that he was going to be able to, he was going to be a much bigger target. And everyone was going to align with him, with Joseph, that is. Robbie says, I love that after Joseph thanked Julie, he looked at the camera and said, thank you to us. Yeah, he's just a stand-up guy. He really is. And he's just, again, I don't know if the alternates know they're alternates when they're on the show. I imagine they do, but they never mention it. Not that I've ever heard on the feeds. So I don't know. I hope he never finds out. He will, but I hope he always feels like he was first choice because he definitely has a strong chance of America's favorite player. I don't know if I can put him at number one, at least or as far as who I think will get it. If I could say anyone at number one, I would probably say him. I think right now it's Turner, Joseph, and Taylor are going to be our top 3. I think Joseph could get it potentially. Just depends on how the rest of the season goes. And then we talked to Madeline. She mentioned how she's here even though she hasn't watched it yet. Again, thank you, Madeline, for joining. We're so glad to have you here. And you're not. I don't think you're the first one that has said they've gotten not even though they haven't watched the episode, and that really means a lot to me that you guys would appreciate the stream that much that you want to join live just to make sure that you catch it live. It definitely makes me happy to have you here. Madeline says a little sad because Joseph left. Yep, we if we had a violin to play, we would. It is depressing over here on this side of it. Let's see, Robbie said I had a tear or two when Joseph left. I don't cry about that. I don't get emotional about that stuff, but if I did, I probably would because it was very heartbreaking. The victory will come when Kyle walks out the door. Hopefully he's able to. I think it's gonna be war between the two groups of 4 pretty much at this point. But I'm hoping that it comes out in favor of the inside because there's really no one besides Turner that I like on the outside at this point. Crazy says I'd like to see. Oh, where'd it go? We skipped some. I'd like to see Turner win HOH this week and Michael win it next week. Yeah, that could be fun. I mean, if Turner wins it though, we're pretty much going to be faced with one of the insiders leaving, and I personally am not wanting to see that. But it is what it is. Real quick, we've gotten several in and out, so if you guys are new here and you don't know, go ahead and drop your any comments, questions, anything you guys have in the live chat. We cover all those at the end, so we'll make sure to cover those before we finish up. And if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at DACChats, because if you do on stream while we're streaming, we'll give you a shout out as you're following. And if you haven't already, also too, and you're enjoying the stream, hit that like button. And if you're having fun here, hit that subscribe button. We go live 15 to 30 minutes after each episode airing. That's what we try to. We've missed a couple, but we definitely try to. And currently looking at trying to hit 100. We're at 79 subs, so we're trying to hit 100 soon. We're just let's put that out there. Okay, let's see. Mona says, "Oh, please hit the like." Yep, Mona reminded everyone how much it helps out. Crazy Matt says, "One of the unwritten rules of Big Brother: never, ever, under any circumstances, call a house meeting. The person who calls it always goes home." Yeah, mostly. It really doesn't do a whole lot for you. It really kind of puts you in a bad spot more often than not, unfortunately. Robbie said the fees are down for the HOH comp, but they went down. Before they went down, Turner was already schmoozing Monty. Someone made the comment he was turning into Pooch. We'll see how that plays out. Again, it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Crazy says Alyssa was talking to Brittany about and Michael too before that. So we've already got some movement going on. They're already trying to cover their tracks. Crazy Matt says I'm heavily paying attention to Twitter and this at the same time. Well, thanks. Yeah, it's hard for me to stay up to date with. Oh, guys, 80 subscribers. We just hit 80. Thank you so much. I cannot figure out how to get alerted. It's supposed to show me on here, and it doesn't show me on here. And sometimes I get notifications, and sometimes I don't. But thank you so much for subscribing. If you subscribe, let me know. Just put it in the chat, and I'll shout you out if you just subscribe. And again, follow me on Twitter. I'll shout you out there. We are on the road to 100. Is currently where we're looking to. And by the way, all of you that have been here since the beginning, thank you so much for sticking around and coming around. This I honestly didn't think we'd get that far. I know it's not that big of a number, and bigger streamers have said more about more, or said less about more, but. Just knowing that there's even just 80 of you that are enjoying the stream, it's makes me so happy. I'm loving doing this. Even when the weeks are a little bit slower for me and a little bit more challenging for me to stick around with, just being able to hop on here and talk with you guys after the episode, it's so much fun, and I'm loving it. So if you're having fun again, we're trying to hit 100 subs so far. That's our next goal. So subscribe, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and follow me on Twitter because that's where all of our updates go. And I will shout you out if you do it on the stream. So that's a good incentive. Okay. Where we go? Crazy said, I want goat season. Yeah, I mean, goat, that's the thing is, I don't feel like anyone's going to be truly happy with a goat season because the goat is going to be so relative that you have different sides of the fan base. You have, the majority of you guys that watch this stream that like watching the strategy and stuff. And then you have people that like watching it for the drama and watching all the craziness that goes on inside. Just watching the different personalities interact. It definitely could be divided. So if you went with that type of thing, it's going to be hard to really narrow it down and please everyone. Which again, they never please everyone anyway. But it would be challenging because who are the goats? I mean, they could do a poll, and if they went off the poll, then regardless of who ends up in the house, going off the majority of who thinks the goats are goats. So I'd be fine with that. I'm pretty sure that's how they did it with the original All Stars. Was they did a national vote on who got in based on the most popular people. They did like a pre-episode where they interviewed everyone that was contenders to go back in, and they voted. I'd be down for that. Let's see. Marine says Ian beat Dan on season 14. Oh, that's true. You're right. He did. That's one I missed. That was a little bit more out of spite because how many people were upset at Dan, but it does count. It definitely does count because he did beat him. So you're 100% right there. Madeline says subscribe. Thanks, Madeline, for subscribing. That makes us so happy that you subscribe. Mona says, I would like an all returning season. All returnees, not half and half. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of my mentality of it. If you're going to have returnees, you got to do all or nothing. And again, I like him more than the average person. But again, if you're going to do it, you can't commingle them because it doesn't work well. Okay. Let's see. Madeline says, follow on Twitter. Yep, we saw that. Give you a shout out. Mona says, a goat season will be funny. Yeah, again, just because for me, it's just the argument of who gets to be considered a goat. It's going to anger. Everyone's going to be upset at that because it's going to be different for everyone. All right. Howard Baker Mars or Steve Frichet? Thanks for joining. I don't recognize you, so you must be new. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you're enjoying it, and if you are, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. He says, dude disappointed in Turner. I already hated Kyle. Disgraceful. Yeah. I wish Turner hadn't gone that route, but if Terrence was already set on that, all he was going to do is put a bigger target on his back by doing that. He would have been in a better. He probably would have been able to skate by it, just because the next week he gets back inside and he joins the leftovers and has the 5, and then he'd have the majority. So it's possible. I mean, if he did do that, then he would be better. It would be a 5 and 3. That being said, he kind of has a guaranteed Final Four at this point, so long as the 4 of them stick together. So I understand why he did it. I definitely do understand why he did it. Crazy says, am I the only one that doesn't hate Kyle? I think he's playing a really good game. I didn't hate him initially. And I still wouldn't say I hate him. And here's the thing. I will say this. And anyone that's watching new, hey, by the way, 81 subs. Just hit 81. Thank you guys so much. That's awesome. I love seeing that. I love being able to end a stream and come away with more subs or leave with more subs than where we came. So let's keep it going. Let's see how far we can get to 100 tonight. Thank you guys so much. Again, my notifications just start working. I wish they were. I gotta figure out how to set that up. At least for a while. Because right now we are we're appreciating all the subs that we can get, and I want to make sure to be able to. I want to be able to shout all you guys out that I'm able to. Not always able to, but I would at least like to, at least for a while. But where are we at? Here's the thing for me. For one, when someone is having a bad behavior, saying hurtful and offensive things, obviously they've got to be called out for it. There is they have to be. They have to be called out for it. People have to be held accountable. That being said, though, I also, like, for me, I want to treat everyone with the same amount of humanity. So I'm really hoping that, or at least with us, what I like to try and do is keep it positive, and I'm not gonna. I will call people out on negative stuff, but I'm not gonna just continuously hate on them, and that's how it is for me. So when it's deserved, we definitely will. When someone needs to be called out, we'll call them out. But we'll still try and be empathetic to everyone, until innocent until proven guilty. I mean, obviously there's some stuff that is proven, watching the feeds, but we try and just keep it positive. I wouldn't say I hate Kyle. I think he made the best move for his game tonight, and this week. But I think he put himself in a much worse position by allowing himself to get to this point. So that for me is why I'm like, I'm not that big of a fan of him. As a player, I thought he had a lot of potential, but he squandered it, in my opinion. He was really trying. He was really trying to stick with the game, but the demon on his shoulder overcame him. He was thinking with the wrong brain. So is what it is. Okay. Robbie says he said something about it on one day on the feeds. I missed what that was about, unfortunately. Okay. Madeline says going to watch it now. Awesome. Have fun watching, Madeline. Have fun watching, and hope you are able to enjoy it. It's sad. It's but some people like watching sad stuff. So if you like watching sad stuff, then you'll enjoy it. So Maureen says Turner is my pick for America's favorite house guest, AFH. There it is, AFH. We want to say AFV, America's Funniest Home Videos. That's again, I don't blame anyone for thinking that. And again, I don't necessarily disagree. I know with the top three right now, it's still so early. It's hard to tell. So I don't want to give out a number yet. I can't quite decide at this point if they did have the votes now, who it would go to, but I don't disagree with that pick at all. Mona says, I thought I heard someone say there was going to be a tiny HOH like the tiny Veto. Was that a joke? No idea. I was going to talk about that, though, because I did hear the same thing, the tiny Veto from 22, that they were going to do it again this season for the HOH. I don't know what they'd be winning if they did it, like a tiny HOH key, someone said. I will just say I do not have a steady hand at all. So much so to the fact that just watching that competition in 22, it caused me anxiety. Like, I'm not joking. It causes me so much anxiety to watch it. So if that is what happens, I will not get as many details as I normally do, and take as many notes, just because that particular thing, like watching someone with steady hands do stuff like that, it's just shivers up my spine. Like, it's so hard for me to just to not be anxious. It drives me nuts. But if it is, we'll find out. We'll find out soon. All right, we have been going for an hour and 17. It's getting pretty late, so let's go ahead and try and blitz through the rest of this. Madeline, check. Yay. Madeline says, we love Big Brother. Yes, we do. Robbie says, Marine, now that Joseph is gone, I currently want Joseph. Yep, same. I think that's who I'm hoping for anyway at this point. And I'm hoping he gets it. Madeline says, I don't hate Kyle, just disappointed how he played his hand. Yeah, again, at this point, I've said it again, I've said it a lot. I'll say it again. I think he made the best move at this point, but he didn't. It didn't have to get to that point. Mona says, "Woohoo! 80 subs. Yep. It should be more subs. Well, but I think it's more difficult because you don't do loads and loads of videos like Tom. Well, and that's I do what I can. And honestly, hey, 82 subs. Thank you guys. Whoever that was, I'm not getting these notifications. Let me know in the chat if you just subscribed. I want to shout you out, just like I am for Twitter follows. But gosh, thank you guys so much. That is awesome. We got to 82 subs. Keep it coming. If anyone is watching, you haven't already subscribed, we are trying to hit 100. So all the love really helps, and all the likes really help too. That helps us out a lot. So but thank you guys so much for subscribing. But right as we were reading that, Mona says 80 subs should be more. But I think and that's all I was saying. I tried doing feed updates. It was I don't have the time. And so I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna recap the episodes, and we'll implement some of the live feeds throughout. And that seems to be working out pretty well for us so far. And I'm having a lot of fun with this, guys. I really am, and it's really enjoyable. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm glad Mona says it should be more. I will neither agree nor disagree. I'm not one to toot my own horn, but again, if you're having fun, you're new here and you're enjoying the stream, hit that subscribe button, and we appreciate all the support that you guys send our way. It really does mean the world to me and everyone here. Okay, Robbie says, Maureen, now that Joseph, oh yeah, we already read that. Mona says, I don't hate Kyle, just heard way too much cringy, embarrassing stuff. Yeah, again, I don't need to know all the personal details. That's for yourself. But it's Big Brother, so we have to. We know that it's possible that goes on, and we have to be prepared for it. All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. So again, any more questions or anything, hit them in the live chat. We'll cover them before we head out. Again, if you follow me on Twitter before the stream's over, we've already had 2 that we've shouted out. So follow me on Twitter, and we'll give you a shout out before it's over. And follow me and subscribe on here. And I'm not getting, if you subscribe to the channel, I'm not getting the updates, but let me know in the chat, and I will give you a shout out. But I have to see the number move, so it's at 82 right now. So if we get any more, put your name in there, and we'll give you a shout out. All right, let's see. Madeline agrees. Everyone. HBYO says, you are welcome to subscribe to you. Hey, thanks so much, AB. We're so happy to have new people, and thanks for letting me know, because again, I'm not getting updates with subscribers, and I'm wanting to be able to shout you guys out for that, because again, I sound like a broken record, but it means so much. It really does. Robbie says, who actually thinks Kyle and Alyssa's relationship outside of the house will last longer than 10 seconds? It won't last long. I think I give them a solid, I don't know, 3 months maybe. They'll try and they'll end it, and they'll try and they'll end it, and they'll go back and forth, and then they'll realize it's just they're not healthy for each other, and because they're not. I don't expect it. I don't foresee it lasting very long. Maybe more than 10 seconds, but not that long. Everyone says welcome to HBY. Crazy says, who knows, Robbie girl? I didn't think Rachel and Brendan would last. That's true. That is very true. That was a lot of people. If that occurred now, everyone would be saying it's very toxic. And I agree. I didn't think that either. I definitely thought during 13 that they were going to split up. So that was, and I was young watching that, and even I was like, oosh, this is rough. Joseph knew he was an alternate. Did he? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I wonder. So I've not heard last year with Claire and with him. I didn't hear either one of them talking about it on the feeds, but I must have missed it. I definitely must have missed that. Okay. And then Crazy says, yeah, that's true. Or Robbie says, that's true. Crazy. I agree with Mona. Mona says, I just like the lives. It's fine. Just slower growing the channel. Yeah, it is. But, we have fun. And I love the interactiveness that we get to have throughout the stream. I like being able to talk with you guys and chat and as we do it. Yeah, I'm having a lot more fun doing this than trying to record and then staying up till 2 a.m. Editing and posting, and then getting up at like 6 or 7. That was rough. So streams. I'm just having a lot of fun with the streams. And if you guys are and you haven't already, I've said it enough times, but we're winding down. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We go live 15 to 30 minutes after each episode. We try to. We've missed a couple, but we're working on it. We're getting better set up. So if you're having fun, you're enjoying the stream, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really enjoying the stream, like the video, because it really helps out. Okay, where are we at? Yep, Mona said that, and then Mona told Robbie they're on the same page. Awesome, glad you guys are agreeing. Rachel was, yeah, she was different. Robbie says Joseph made the comment that he didn't know if his parents knew he made it on. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm sure they would have found out by now. By the time he's actually on, I'm sure they found out about it. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe they're wondering this whole time. There was that one girl that went camping for like 3 weeks. That was like 2 or 3 years ago, and her family had no idea. Oh no, it was a former bachelorette contestant, and she went missing for like 3 or 4 weeks. No, I exaggerate. It was like a week or two, but she didn't, like, no one could find her, and then she turned up like a week later. Like, I was just on a resort. I didn't have my phone on me, and her family was like looking for her. So I think at this point they would have figured it out, because that one made the news. But yeah. So but yeah, we have a lot of fun. Joseph made the comment that, oh yeah, we already read that. And Robbie says he liked that hat. Yep. So I'm sure most of you know what Blue's Clues is. I loved Blue's Clues as a kid. And like, a year ago, the original host, because he left when he was after several seasons, and he did this like little video because they did a reboot. He's like talking to everyone as we're all grown up, and it was a really sweet deal. And he had this, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, I gotta have that hat. That's awesome. And that was like a year ago, and no one had it. And then I looked about a week or so ago, again, just out of curiosity, and found this exact one on Etsy, and I was like, this is it to a T, and I gotta have it. So I love it. I absolutely love it. So all right, guys, thank you so much for joining the stream tonight. We are gonna wrap it up there. We will do our very best to make sure we hit Sunday. If we don't hit Sunday, most likely it'll be Monday. I know I think I've said this before, but BB Canada's, they do their Sunday night episodes on Monday, so we might try and do that for some of them. It just depends on availability, but it looks like, I was looking up today, it looks like finale's on Sunday, so we might just stick with Sunday until then. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining the stream. Again, if you like the stream, hit that like button. If you're really enjoying it and you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter at DakChats. That's where you get all of our updates. We're live 15 to 30 minutes after each episode. And we have a lot of fun here. So if you're having fun, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time.